Do you think people are waking up? I mean, we keep talking about this, right? It's been like probably 3 years every time I see you. Or like, are more people waking up? Or are we living in a bubble? And then elections happen and people keep voting for dumb things, or we see more of the, woke industrial complex and everywhere. And so it's like, on the one hand, I feel like people are waking up. We're seeing more of the mama bears that, follow PragerU and the parents. And, definitely PragerU has had unbelievable growth. And so I'm thinking people are waking up. And then I'm looking at some of the results on the other side, and I'm like, wait, am I living in a bubble?
Yeah, the thing is, well, first, to answer your question clearly, yes, people are waking up. But you have to separate that a little bit from what election results are. Because waking up to what is wrong with society and what the good ideas are, that doesn't always immediately connect to who you have to vote for, unfortunately. And also the Republican Party, as I always say on my show, you don't have to be a Republican, but you cannot be a Democrat. It's not like the Republicans are that great. They're certainly better than the Democrats, and I hope they get better. But getting people to wake up politically and then connect that to, I better really vote differently or move or something else, that's a second step. But in terms of the first step of like waking up truly, yes, there are more red-pilled people now. Look at the results in Florida. I can't do an interview without talking about Florida, obviously. All DeSantis really did was say no more of this nonsense. Actually, when DeSantis was at the PragerU Gala last year that I emceed, one of the things that I thought was most interesting was that Alan here from PragerU said to me after, he said, I've never heard him speak in person. He said, all he said was common sense.
Right.
That was it. The secret is not that great, actually, with DeSantis. It's like he's fighting the right fights. We're going to get the woke stuff out of schools. You can't tell boys that they're girls, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have low taxes. We're going to actually fund law enforcement. It's basic stuff that actually pretty much every Democrat believed in 1986, and he's doing it right. And then what happens is you end up winning by a landslide. So in some cases where it's really done right, you see it work in terms of the results of an election. I think the broader Republican Party has a lot of problems, and they have to figure out the direction. And I think the brand in some ways is so toxic to young people that they can't make that final move. So as bad as the Democrats are, it's like, if they can just kind of throw out another Joe Biden, they think, all right, he's inept and whatever, but he's not truly evil. I would argue that perhaps he is, but or just completely inept, which could be a version of evil. But I think that's the problem, is that an awful lot of people are waking up. You're right. The parents, look what happened in Virginia with Youngkin. It's because parents started revolting, right? And now school choice is coming to Arkansas. It's coming to Iowa. Like there's so many good things happening. But the machine and the woke monster is never going to stop. That's what I think people really have to understand. It is a virus, and a virus is very easy to catch and very hard to get rid of. And it always, I wrote this in, I think it was in my second book. I can't remember which book it was. Do you remember the scene in the original Alien movie, Sigourney Weaver, Alien, I think it's 1977. They're on the ship and the alien is now killing everybody, right? And everyone's being killed. There's like 3 or 4 people left. And the doctor on the ship, who you later find out is an android actually, he likes the alien. And Sigourney can't figure out why. And he's like, well, the alien's remorseless. The alien's accomplishing what it wants to accomplish. It's doing its mission.
It's focused.
It's focused and doing. So he doesn't like what he turns out to kind of like it because for a different reason. But whether we like this thing or not, you have to give the devil his due. This thing has rampaged through our institutions. No one in their right mind would have thought that this kind of destruction would have happened. No one would think 7 years ago that a guy like me would have wanted to leave Los Angeles and leave California to go live in Florida.
Right, it was your dream to move to LA.
And I loved it the first 6 years here. I woke up every day. It's sunshine every day here, you know? A lot of sun in Florida too, by the way. It is the Sunshine State. Did you know that?
I know you love Florida.
but that's how much things have changed. And the point of the alien story is you have to give them credit for doing it. You can't just run around saying the woke are idiots and they're morons and whatever. It's like, man,
they're not. They're focused.
Yeah. And you may say, and yes, the foot soldiers, the Antifa people, and like the average person and AOC, yes, they may not be the brightest people, but whatever's the driving force behind it is focused and is doing damage.